Hello and welcome back to 20th Century Dude. Today we'll have another pickups video. We have some new finds on DVD, HD DVD, and of course VHS. So I guess we'll start with HD DVD because we only have like two of these to show. And if you've seen my HD DVD video already, you've probably seen these to begin with. But for those of you who didn't, these are my most recent pickups, and honestly, I don't know where else I'll be going with my collection for now, so I guess this is a good place to take a pause. Up first, we have Peter Jackson's, one of his first films, The Frighteners. And again, if you did watch my HD DVD video, this is the one I basically did a demonstration on pretty much the entire time. So there's the disc. And if you want to recap, if you don't know, HD-DVD was the one of the formats alongside Blu-ray that was supposed to be the successor to DVD, but only lasted like a couple years on market because in the end, Blu-ray persevered, this format didn't. So maybe in an alternate history, we'd be like watching things like Avengers Infinity War or Jurassic World or something on an HD DVD instead of a Blu-ray, but one wonders, I guess. And the last of the HD DVDs, we have Darkman, a little quirky film from Sam Raimi. I can always count on him for that good old-fashioned campiness, which this film definitely was. I also didn't really expect it to be as fast-paced as it was. I guess it's what? It's only really an hour and a half-ish, hour and 36 minutes actually, and it really breezes by. But of course, fast enough that you can like still pick up on the story beats and whatnot, because it's still a competently made story. And unfortunately, my parents were not so impressed with this movie. My mother, who apparently must have liked Liam Neeson back in the day, was probably creeped out on why he looked so icky looking. So I don't feel like she warmed up to that, unfortunately. And Dad just thought that this movie was weird. So unfortunately, did not sell my parents on Darkman, but oh well, I guess. And I guess continuing the trend of another 90s movies, we're moving on to DVD now. We have The Matrix. And I used to have... Oh, I need to bring it over. Yeah, there we go. Alright. I used to have all three of these. But I sold the sequels at one point. I'm kind of kicking myself for doing that. I mean, I didn't like them at the time, but considering how the last movie turned out, I probably should have kept the trilogy and the complete set. And apparently, I also forgot that I had this on DVD because I brought it home, and lo and behold, there's literally another one of these in a box somewhere. And I completely forgot about that. I completely forgot. Even though I have an entire movie and TV show log of everything I own, I apparently forgot I owned this. So I guess I could either keep two copies of The Matrix, which I don't really need to do. I might sell my old copy too. Yeah. And completely moving in a different direction, we have Ernest Goes to Jail. And I'm sure some of you are probably looking at this like, wow, I haven't seen that in a while, or, oh, geez, Ernest, because of course. Some of you might have never heard of Ernest P. Worrell. If you have, I would suggest checking him out. I think some people either remember him by movies such as this and Ernest Goes to Camp, or maybe you remember him from, like, the TV commercials he did back in the day. Of course, I grew up with watching the movies because, in the 2000s, they weren't airing the Ernest commercials, of course. Go figure. and it's definitely, maybe judging by the quality, a very very early DVD. I don't know. It's either maybe the technology they used to make DVDs back in the like very late '90s, or I don't know. Maybe they could have just ported a literal laser disc on the here, which I don't think they did. But I mean, speculation, I guess. And moving on to some very old Marvel, not MCU Marvel, we have Daredevil. And yes, some of the following movies I'm about to show you, I can recognize that maybe they're not such the greatest things ever made. This movie is not exactly what I would call spectacular either, although if you really do appreciate this movie for what it is, I don't know. Maybe it was like something you grew up with and you're like nostalgic for. I don't know, but yeah. So when I first watched this movie, it ended up being a director's cut because that was what was on YouTube free with ads at that point. And that version of the movie was fine. It was okay. And I watched then the regular theatrical version of the movie, and yeah, that's kind of the shitty one, I guess. That's sort of the shitty version of the original Daredevil. And of course, some of you will know that led into the Elektra movie, and the less said about that, the better, I guess we'll say. And moving on to something completely different, we have The Punisher. And this was a movie I've been trying to track down and watch for a very long time because, unfortunately, the only way you could stream it, and of course I couldn't find a VHS copy anywhere, the only way you could stream it was if you like bought it off of Vudu or Prime or something, and I thought, no, that's kind of ridiculous. Ended up finding this at a flea market for about $1. I figured, well, again, I don't know if it's any good, but I will pick it up anyway. Turned out to be kind of meh, but it is what it is. And I know some people sort of trash on this film and are more partial to the Warzone movie. I am not one of them. I did sort of prefer this, even though, I mean, both are not really great. I say of the two Punisher movies in the 2000s, if I had to pick one, I guess I'd rather watch this. I don't know. Although I feel like Ray Stevenson did a good job with what he was given in the 2008 movie. And I don't know if you can tell. I think it's in the top there. Unfortunately, this disc was not properly taken care of. So it didn't really make the experience any better because there were times I literally would have to skip like a minute of the film, like sort of like fast forward it just to like get to a part of the disc that was clean because it's just all scratched up. There's some little smudge mark on the top corner, and somebody decided to sell that. So I guess if you want to take away any moral of the story away from this video, is to please take care of your physical media, especially if you're going to be selling it to somebody else. And moving on to an old pre-MCU Marvel movie that many people do like, we have Blade. With Wesley Snipes, and apparently, according to Deadpool Wolverine, the one and only Blade. Ironically enough, since the other film may or may not be getting made at this point, since they basically have to make, how many versions of that film already? And you need to put over here. I'm horrible at this. I'm sorry. So yeah, I actually ended up finding, spoiler alert, the entire trilogy on DVD at the same flea market I found The Punisher at. So I figured, hey, why not? Since I'm really just building up my own little, Marvel multiverse, I guess. Why why not? I mean, I'm not such a big vampire guy myself, so I mean the fact that I even sort of like these movies, I guess maybe is really telling. But I do find they do deteriorate after a while. They do kind of diminish in quality in terms of story, I guess, because you definitely get the third one. It's like, what is this? But we'll get more to that in a second. So I don't know. Maybe the first one I'd like upgrade the Blu-ray. I can't really say the same for the Blade sequels. I think DVD is about where I'll keep it at, maybe. And up next we have Blade 2, which in terms of sequels, I guess it's the better one, but compared to Trinity, uh, I guess that's no competition at all. So yeah, that's Blade 2. And last but not least, we do finally have Blade 3, also called Trinity. And I knew from the first time I watched it about 2 years ago when I heard Ryan Reynolds' voice start the opening narration. I was a bit confused at first. It's like, wait, this isn't Deadpool, and I would have thought he wouldn't have been around Marvel yet. So it's like, what are you doing in the movie? Like, Deadpool's not in this movie, is he? Because that wouldn't make any sense. But apparently, he's playing some guy called Hannibal King. Which I would have thought Deadpool and Wolverine would have poked fun at or feature Hannibal King. I guess they didn't. Maybe they didn't want to make any direct ties to Blade Trinity. I don't know. But this is the one that it really comes off kind of silly, and I don't know why that is. I don't know why they took that direction. Because at least with the first two movies, they were somewhat serious. But once you bring in quirky Ryan Reynolds, that just completely changes the whole dynamic. And I think some people think probably for the worst. And up next we have The Decade You Were Born, the 1970s. I don't know if any of you have seen one of these before. I've seen them at yard sales and stuff plenty of times. I just didn't really pick it up until now. So, I suppose it says there's 4 hours of nostalgic entertainment on there. And I suppose if you really want to see what's on this, I guess we have the following. A complete feature film called That's the Way of the World, starring Harvey Keitel and Earth, Wind, and Fire from 1975. Which I did a little research. Apparently it's not a super big film. Of course, I didn't know anything about it, so I guess that's something to get around to. A complete TV episode, Dusty's Trail, Means Bananas in 1973, starring Bob Denver. I wonder if he's related to John Denver. Probably not. 23 minutes. 5 classic 1970s TV commercials. And 5 signature movie trailers that were released in the 1970s. So I can imagine maybe Godfather, Jaws, and Star Wars probably shown up there. Maybe Apocalypse Now, good possibility. And actually did get a new case for this because the other one, it was falling apart for some reason. And I just happened to have a spare case laying around, so I actually did do some transfer. And up next we have basically the same thing, but it's the 80s. And I also saw one from the 60s at one point, but that was years ago, and I didn't pick it up. And I'm wishing myself that I kind of did. And yeah, so as far as films go, we have a film called Bailout, starring David Hasselhoff. So I'm guessing this is post Knight Rider, pre Baywatch, probably. complete TV episode, the two-part pilot episode of 21 Jump Street, starring Johnny Depp. So we have that. We have 3 classic 1980s TV commercials, 5 signature movie trailers released in the 80s. I'm surprised nothing from MTV. I would have thought that 1980s was the golden year of 1980s. Well, not MTV music videos. So I would have thought that would have been put on there as a bonus feature, but I'm also guessing that there has to be one for the 50s or like the 90s or something. I don't know how many of these were made. I'm going to guess maybe goes up to 90s. I don't know if they do anything for the 2000s. But I don't know. Maybe the 2000s nostalgia isn't quite completely there yet. Give it a few years. We might be there. As far as 2000s nostalgia is concerned. And going on to some VHS tapes, this is a pre-recorded one I found. It was supposed to be a Penn State football game versus Indiana. I guess it's at 9/99, so September 1999. I am not a football guy myself. I mean, sports don't really interest me in the slightest. That's why I only played 1 year of soccer and like 2 years of t-ball when I was a kid. And after that, just is like, I don't know, sports were my thing. But my sister went on to go play softball for how many years. So to each their own, I guess. And I don't know if any of you can read that, but yeah. It's supposed to be a football game on there. Unfortunately, what football game is on there is only like the last 10 to 15 minutes of the game. Because I'm guessing somebody taped over at one point. There used to be football game on there, but somebody taped over it. And apparently from shows that had very poor cable TV quality that day. Because it's very fuzzy. Because there's just hours and hours of Oprah, and it's like, seriously? And then there's some like travel show or something on there, and then finally we get to the game, but of course it's near the end. And then there's like some Macy's Day Parade going on after, and yeah, I don't know. Feel like this tape has been like literally taped over like couple times, and it kind of shows. And I'm only even halfway through it, so I'm gonna guarantee you there's probably nothing else of any importance. I could be wrong, probably not. But hey, if you're looking for football, oh well. And up next we have a movie called Mouse Hunt. I don't know how many of you remember this film at all, starring Nathan Lane and Lee Evans versus the little mouse. If you were in the 90s and 2000s, 1998. If you're in the 90s and 2000s, I don't know if any of you remember seeing this movie at all, or maybe you grew up with it as a kid. I think I've only seen it like twice, maybe, like a very, very long time ago. So it's definitely been like a good deal since I've seen this movie. From what I remember, yeah, it was an okay, quirky comedy, but of course that was like 10 to 12 years ago, so of course my opinion on movies has drastically changed from then. I, of course, don't look at it like simple entertainment, you know. I look for the little things in the movie, maybe more, I guess, of a critic than what I used to be. And up next, and this one didn't have a cover, we have The Adventures of Robin Hood from 1938. So definitely going back in cinema, and hopefully something new I can watch, because I've never seen it. And up next we have The Last Samurai from Tom Cruise. I don't know if I showed this off yet, but just in case I didn't, here it is. And of course this is a movie I did not expect to find on VHS. I mean, it was a 2004, right? Yeah, 2004 movie, and a lot of VHS tapes were kind of like dying off by then. Movie companies were sort of already moving to the DVD. That was the new thing. So I was very surprised to have even found this, but yeah, I'm sure there are probably plenty of others out there. This is only a movie I've seen once, like a while ago, and I thought it was pretty good. So I've yet to rewatch it then, I guess, in this case. And where did I put it? Oh, yes. Movie I've been hunting down for a while, and it was actually brand new in the shrink wrap. We have uh, Harrison Ford in Witness, which was a 1980s movie about the Amish. Of course, starring Harrison Ford and Kelly McGillis, who you would later know from Top Gun, of course. I have yet to watch it. It's been one I've been wanting to hunt down for a while. Of course, I already have plenty of familiarity with the Amish because that makes up pretty much almost 50% of the population for where I live. So I'm interested to see what the Hollywood take on the Amish is. And up next, we have I guess, some rare lost footage from 1950s live TV. We have Abbott and Costello live on TV. I guess this has preserved some bits from some programs they did in the past. And yeah, it's 90-minute laugh track packed tape compiled from over 9 hours of early 1951 to 53 live TV broadcasts. Guaranteed superior quality videotape recorded in the LP mode. And here I thought that was because maybe that was the quality of footage they had. But I guess they wanted to downgrade the quality for some reason. Who's on first is on this? Who knew? Alrighty. Good Times Home Video. I think my Mad Max tape is on. It has a Good Times label on it. And last but not least, we have a rental tape actually of an old Disney movie. I don't know if I've showed this off before. If it repeats, I'm sorry. We have the Apple Dumpling Game from, I think this is 1970s, I think, maybe. So this would have been post-Walt. And I don't know if any of you remember this movie at all with Don Knotts and Tim Conway. I grew up with the movie a long time ago. Of course, it's been very much a long time since I've seen it. There's also the second one where they're in it more prominently because, funny enough, as much as they're advertising this movie, they're not really, like, the main focus at all. It's really just this family instead. But Don Knotts and Tim Conway, their characters are really the main focus of the second one. So if you're looking for more of them, I would say watch the second one. But if I guess you want a more superior story, watch the first one. And of course, as I said, this is a rental tape. There's a sticker for a 5-day rental on here. Of course, if you didn't hand it back in 5 days, they tracked you down and they killed you. I'm just kidding. No. No, you would have been given a fee for not returning the movie. And I'm guessing, depending on this thing's age, that this is probably something my dad and his brother probably would have rented at some point. Maybe not this exact tape, honestly, but probably something would have grown up with. And yeah, I think that's about it as far as recent finds. So again, this video was a little more last minute and impromptu, so I apologize if I don't sound very professional at all. But I just kind of did this quickly. It's like, oh, it's a great idea. Let's get this stuff. And yeah, so this is just some recent stuff I found out. This is just some recent stuff I found. So, anyways, thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and otherwise, have a great rest of the day. Subscribe, and see you.